All right, what's good?
What's good?
Man, for the people who don't know you, introduce yourself and what it is you do.
Yeah, my name is Kelly MAHANA, and I'm the founder and CEO of Authentic Recovery Homes in Denver, Colorado.
Dope, dope. Are you from Denver?
I've been here since I was a kid, bro. So I'm from Denver.
You pretty much from here. So what school did you go to out here?
Man, I went to every school, bro. I was on the tour, but I went to East for a little bit. East Middle School,
Yeah.
East High School, Hinckley, and then the Colorado Division of Youth Credit.
Well, look, how was your childhood out here going from school to school and shit?
Man, it kind of sucked, bro. Like, in the sense of, we be in Aurora for 3 months, and then we be in Capitol Hill, and then we be in the north side, and then we be back in Capitol Hill, and then we be, so it kind of sucked, bro. Just moving around all the time. I never really got to establish these tight bonds and friendships.
Yeah.
But I also got to see different people and see how other people move. Like, there is differences between like Denver and Aurora. Whether people recognize that or not, there is.
But you got any siblings, family, kids out here?
I do. I got 2 brothers, 1 sister, and I haven't seen them since, I don't even know when the last time I saw my sister was, honestly. Yeah. Probably sometime teenager. My brothers, I seen, my one brother came by a while back. I've seen both of my brothers a couple times since I got out the joint.
Okay.
I do have one son out in Tucson. I don't know him. I never met him. I got her pregnant right before I went to the county jail and did all my time. So he's damn near a grown man, and I don't even know.
You got intentions on going to meet him or linking up at some point?
Man, I tried. When I first got out, I got in touch with him, and he just wasn't feeling me. He got a lot of hate and stuff built up just for me not being there. So I hope one day he's open to it, but I also understand where he's at.
Hell yeah, it just takes some time. Everybody grow up and mature and start seeing things a different way. So, shit, how'd you end up in jail, and like how long? The most recent time.
Yeah. Now I was a gang member, and I was also a drug addict, and I also thought I was a dope dealer.
Yeah, that don't match.
It does not match, bro. You know, and in my generation, my OGs were moving in the way of all the gangster shit they were doing, like kicking down doors, robbing fools. All that was just to stay high. It wasn't to like get up and get out of your situation. It was to just be able to stay high. And I fell into that.
Yeah.
I started getting high, but I also had a plug on some shit, and so I would just get high all day and sell dope. Well, my girlfriend at the time or whatever, she had a homegirl who wanted some clear. So I gave it to my girlfriend, and she fronted it to her homegirl, and then her homegirl never paid.
Shit.
And I was like, what? You better handle that.
Right.
So she went and she handled that. Like she told her, like, let's go out, let's party, let's chill. So we were out drinking, having fun. And then when we got back to the apartment, my girlfriend at the time just put hands on her, started maxing her.
Yeah.
Well, one of my homeboys was there, and so when my then girlfriend knocked this chick out, my homeboy ran over and started tying her up. He's like, fuck this bitch.
Sheesh.
Yeah, and I was so like, I was so out of it, bro. Like, I had been up for maybe a week straight on meth. I've been popping Klonopins on top of other pills and drinking. I didn't know up from down, left from right.
Right.
So, and also, like, how I grew up, if you got an issue with someone, you get down, that's how you resolve it.
Yeah, so it was normal.
Yeah, so it was normal.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't planned or nothing. Like, no one told the homeboy to like tie this chick up or none of that. And so when he did that, I was just like, yeah, I was so gone. I was like, yeah, whatever. I went in my bedroom, I fell asleep. I woke up a day later. So when I woke up, I didn't even know what was going on. I was like, what? You know, get up, take a shower, go in the living room, the homeboy and my girlfriend at the time were like, yo, we gotta kill this bitch.
Whoa.
I was like, what? And then it all came back to me. I went and I looked, they had her in the closet, they had her duct taped and tied up, and I was like, oh shit, because I was on juvenile parole.
Yeah.
So I just got out of juvenile prison, and I was like, oh shit, man, I'm gonna go to prison for the rest of my life now. So I was like, yeah, bro, we gotta do what we gotta do.
Right.
So they went to go get stuff to get rid of the body, and well, let me rewind a little second. So we're like, fuck it, we gotta kill her. So we attempted to kill her, shot her, stabbed her, tried to drown her, thought she was dead. Found out later the duct tape like held her blood in and kept her alive. We wrapped her in a shower curtain and we threw her in a field in Aurora and left. And yeah, that was like my main charges were in Denver. And then once we left Denver, I caught some more charges in Arizona. We stopped in Arizona, and we were like just ripping and running out there. So my co-defendant, he has family out in Arizona.
Yeah.
In like Tucson and Phoenix. And so we were just in both of those areas, robbing stores, robbing drug dealers, like just wilding out.
It's going crazy.
Yeah.
Shit.
Left Phoenix, went to Vegas, was doing some stuff in Vegas and even in Phoenix and Colorado actually. And then I don't really want to talk about it because I never got charged for it.
Hey, we'll leave it at.
But it was bringing in a lot of finances.
Yeah.
And then we left Vegas, we went to California, we were going down into Mexico. Well, one of my co-defendants at the time, I guess you call it a crime spree, bro, because we were committing all kinds of crimes all through, Colorado, Arizona, Nevada, and California.
Right.
Well, one of my co-defendants, one of her family members reached out and was like, hey, if you turn yourself in, like, they'll give you a deal. And so she reached out to the police department. They jammed us up while we were going across the border, and I ended up I got time in California, I got time in Arizona and Colorado, and I had a Fed case as well.
I was trying to put you under the jail.
Yeah, but they kind of worked out, bro, because Arizona gave me 3 years. Then my Fed case got dismissed because they're like, we're confident that California and Colorado are going to give you a life sentence.
Yeah.
And then California I pled to a lesser crime and they gave me a few years. And they told me, we're confident Colorado will give you a life sentence. And then when I got back to Colorado, I ended up with a 60-year sentence.
So it still wasn't life.
Man, it felt like life.
It was pretty much life. But
it felt like life, bro.
Yeah, 60 years is a long damn time. So how long did you end up actually being in there?
Yeah, I did 13 years on that. But it wasn't like I did 13 on a 60.
Yeah.
That's crazy. What happened was after 8.5 years, one of my homeboys who had a life without parole sentence, he became a jailhouse attorney trying to figure out how to get himself out.
Yeah.
He had exhausted all his appeals, and we go do pull-ups in Lyman every day at Yard.
Right.
And so we're doing pull-ups, and he'd be like, yo, man, you should let me see your shit. I might be able to get you some love. And I'd be like, yeah, you got your self-love?
Right, that didn't work for you.
Yeah. And just taking jabs at him. And partially it was because I didn't even want to get my own hopes up.
Right.
Because I had finally settled in and was like, you know what, this is where I am, this is what it is. But he just kept asking me every day. So then finally after 3 months, I just threw my legal box to him. I was like, here, bro.
Right, go ahead, do your thing.
And so he filed a motion, and I cannot remember what it's called. But basically what it is in the state of Colorado, if you and I commit the same crime and we're co-defendants, there has to be our sentences have to be
identical?
Not identical, but within a range of each other.
Okay.
And so what happened was I had 3 co-defendants. One of them was a habitual offender on felony probation at the time this crime was committed. She got probation. but she was already a habitual offender and already on felony probation.
And got probation.
I had another co-defendant who was on felony bond for a completely separate case and already a convicted felon. He got like 18 years in prison. I had another co-defendant who got 5 years in prison. I got 60 years.
But y'all always doing the same thing.
And it was the exact same crime, yeah. Like we were co-defendants in it. And so what happened was, with this motion he filed, it was basically going to say to like, there's too much of a gap between these sentences.
Right.
Like that's not fair based on your laws. So they sent me a letter back and they're like, yo, you got legal standing. We're going to bring you back to court. So I was all happy and excited. The day comes and goes. They never took me back to court. So now I'm looking at my homie like, man, fuck you, bro.
Right.
Get away from me, homie. Just get away from me. Yeah. Well, 2 weeks go by and then I get another letter in the mail, bro. Just that simple. A letter in the mail from the courts. And they're like, hey, look, we reviewed your stuff. We didn't need to bring you back. You had merit, and we reduced your sentence by 30 years. So now I've been in for 8.5 years. I go from a 60 piece to a 30 piece. And I'm like, man, I'm walking taller now.
Yeah, like you done already ate of it.
Yeah, I'm like, man, I could walk this down.
Yeah.
And so that's what happened, bro. And then from there, a few years later down the road, one of my co-defendants, their family bought an attorney, did some more legal work, and it knocked 10 more years off my sentence. So I ended up with a 20-year sentence, and I did 13 on it.
Man, how did it feel walking out of there for the first time, thinking you was never gonna walk out of there?
Man, so many different emotions, like so many. So when they told me to pack it up,
yeah.
I didn't believe. I was like in shock, you know, and I was like, what? Pack it up? What do you mean pack it up? So I get on the bus. They're like, oh, you're going to Buny. So I'm like, damn, man, last time I got to Buny, I got jumped immediately. And so I'm like, man, I knew it was too good to be true. I ain't going home. They just tell me that.
Right.
So I get on the bus from Canyon City, handcuffed and shackled, black box, drive all the way up to Buena Vista. Man, I'm throwing up because I'm motion sick because I haven't been in a car in forever.
Right.
Oh, the bus. It was the bus. As soon as we get there, we're getting off the bus. They're like, name and number. A sergeant walks up and he's like, who's MAHANA 137678? And I was like, me. He was like, come with me.
I'm like, oh shit, I'm in trouble already?
Yeah, I'm like, what's going on? He takes me into intake. He's like, take a piss. So I'm like, all right, because I had to go to the bathroom. So I use the bathroom. I walk out. He's like, all right, cuffs me back up. He's like, you're getting back on the bus. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, I don't know why they brought you here. You're getting out. Get back on the bus. And so in that moment, I just remember like so many mixed emotions. I went to Cell House 5 for the weekend. That Monday, they dropped me off at Camp George West. They're like, all right, the halfway house is gonna pick you up. They dropped me off. I didn't have no chains, no shackles, no nothing. I was in my dress outs and I just felt weird. I thought it was a setup. And then everyone who was with me just kept leaving and getting picked up. And then I was the last one there and I was like, man, is this really a setup? And finally the halfway house came and picked me up. And I remember when I got there, I couldn't believe it. It just didn't feel real.
She was out of there.
Man, the halfway house to me was like being on a exotic island resort, man. I was so excited and I was like, man, I'm out here.
Like definitely compared to where you came from.
Yeah, I kissed the ground, bro, the concrete. Yeah, I got on my hands and my knees and I kissed the concrete and I said thank you, and then I shed a couple tears and I had so many just different mixed emotions.
Fucking dope, man. So at this point you free, and I know you had to go through a lot of like a real transition of getting acclimated back to society and getting a job and all that good stuff. I want to fast forward to how you met Bree and how y'all started Authentic Recovery Homes. Yeah,
so I actually met Bree when I was in the halfway house. She was in the halfway house too, woman's halfway house. And she was my boss at Taco Bell, and that's how I met her, and we just became friends.
Right.
Like, she was my friend for over a year, and we just had, like, she comes from a tough life, bro. Like, she's from one of the poorest cities in our country. Grew up in a home for like almost 4 years straight without water or electricity. They'd have to go across the street to one of their neighbor's house and fill up a bucket of hot water and bring it back across the street, and then like stick a sponge in, like bird bath, bird bath, but on the streets for years, you know. Right. Not including any of the other stuff that went on with her and all that. Yeah. And so we just vibed. Like, she was my homie, she was my homegirl, she was cool as fuck, my best friend. And but the whole time I was telling her I wanted to open a sober living home. I wanted to open a sober living home. And so finally, like after a year, we took it to the next level. And then man, but we had these crappy ass jobs. Yeah. And it cost money to just even buy a home, but two, to like anything with real estate, especially in Denver, it's not real, bro. It's so expensive. But we ended up just getting 2 full-time jobs apiece and just hustling, bro. 2 full-time jobs, day in and day out.
That's basically 4 people.
Yeah, exactly.
4 people.
And then we opened a hot dog cart. Yeah. Because we're like, you know, I met a guy at one of my jobs who's like, oh, I used to own a hot dog stand. Yeah, if you just go downtown, you'll make $1,000 a night. So I was like, Bree, we got to do this. And she's like, nah. I'm like, come on. It's
trying to be downtown, so hot dogs.
Yeah. And, but we did. And we learned so much just with that hot dog stand about business and how to move. Yeah. That it prepared us for when we opened Authentic.
That's dope. That's dope. So what made you fall in love with service, so say?
So when I initially thought about Authentic Recovery Homes and opening up a sober living home, it was because I was in the halfway house. They were therapeutic, and it helped me as a person and in my life. But I also saw the gaps in service, and I wanted to create something that would have been something that I would have felt comfortable living in.
Hell yeah.
And it would have helped me on my own journey. And so I just stuck with it, and it finally happened.
Dope. So what are the details of Authentic Recovery Homes, and what's the main mission?
Yeah, so I'd say overwhelmingly our main mission is just to be able to put people in a position to where they could finally see through their own eyes, through their own lens, that anything is possible, and you can survive and thrive and have a life where you're not strung out, where you're not every day, you're not stuck on getting high or getting messed up to the point it's affecting all your relationships and your own personal life.
Right. So what makes it a better alternative than the traditional halfway house, straight to the street, you know, pipeline they kind of have?
Yeah, so I guess the only way I could say it is, if you look around, there's no one from, well, there's one other person, but outside of that, there's no one from the backgrounds that Bree or I come from that have this service.
Right.
So it's a bunch of people who grew up having everything, living in nice areas, going, you know, like T Grizzly said, you went from high school to college, we went from babies to felons. So most of the other people in this field, they went from high school to college, and they've never struggled or wanted for anything.
They never lived that.
Right, and they're taking what they read on paper and trying to serve a population. Whereas Bree and I, just walking in the door, we're an inspiration, because people are like, dang, bro, you guys have been through the mud and you're here. So that's huge for us. And then also the quality of our homes. You've been to our homes, bro. Yeah. We keep them nice. We don't want them to feel institutional or like you messed your life up.
I live in them houses because, man, they laid out. They beautiful, man. What would someone have to do? Like, what steps would they have to take to get into the sober living home?
Yeah, so to enter our program, you have to be sober.
Yeah.
So you can't show up and get sober there. If you're not sober, go to a detox, call us. You know, you don't have to have three months, 6 months, 180 days. You just have to be sober. So what that means is the day you come do your intake, your UA has to be clean.
Right.
Your BA has to be clean. So it don't matter if it's first 10 minutes clean, as long as it's clean. Yeah, you're there. So you could reach out online, over the phone, text, however is easiest for you. You do have to attend 4 meetings per week. You do have to obtain a sponsor. Like, we really want you focused on recovery. We're not transitional living, so we're not just a roof over your head. We want you trying to work through your traumas so you can be successful when you leave our program.
Dope. What's any other rules?
Yeah, like no violence, no threats of violence, no sexual misconduct, that type of stuff.
Dope. Talk about like your journey forming a company, forming a business, and like that very first day of like in operation, like that feeling of accomplishment, or however you felt. Like, just talk about that journey.
Yeah, so man, it took me almost 4 years to get this thing on the ground.
Yeah.
I was working 2 full-time jobs in different industries: roofing, the shelter, fast food, dock work, all these different things. And it got to the point where my own wife was like, you know, like, come on, babe, like, you keep talking about this recovery homes, and you know, we're driving a forklift, and then going to the shelter,
right?
You know, and so I got to a point where I started questioning, like, am I crazy? Am I living in a fake reality because I can't handle my real world and where I'm actually at? And then I kept pushing those down and striving for my goal, but I also didn't want to be a letdown to my wife,
right?
You know? And so when it finally happened after all these years, it was like, what's gonna go wrong?
Oh, you
what's gonna go wrong?
Fall out.
Yeah. And then it finally happened. Day one, we got this big nice house, looks like some on MTV Cribs, and man, I can't find no clients.
It's empty.
Yeah, so I'm like, dang, man, I've been dreaming about this for years and I don't even have no clients. Then I finally got a client. Then I finally got 2 clients, and then, man, I was stuck on two people in the homes for like almost 3 months.
Damn.
Yeah, and so now I was like, I'm spending my money to keep the doors open, and I'm running through all the bread. Me and my wife have been stacking up and trying to live better, and I didn't know if it was gonna work.
Right.
You know? And so I was nervous, and I was like, dang, bro, was I living in a lie? Was I telling myself something? And then finally on like month 3, an individual who owns a treatment center here in Denver had heard about me, saw me on Facebook, reached out, and he filled my home.
Damn.
Yep.
So like that home being filled obviously led to house 2 and 3, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy. So where do you make revenue, like, during the business? Like, do they pay? Do they get sponsors? Like, how did that work?
So it's self-pay. So all of our guys, they end up getting jobs and paying for their own stay, or they have family members that pay. But that is how we cover all operating expenses, and all profit is just from
They have like a monthly rent type thing.
Yeah, we call them program fees. So they pay a monthly program fee. Each person does. And then we did recently, we just got a scholarship from Signal, or I mean a grant from Signal, so that we could scholarship individuals coming into the program.
That's dope. That's dope. So obviously it's really, really growing. Like, how does it feel like when you know you changed someone's life?
Honestly, it kind of feels weird. Cause when I go to the houses, it's like they don't treat me like a person.
Yeah.
It's like I'm a role model, and they like look up to me, and I'm still learning how to handle that. Yeah, because it's like, you know, in my mind, I'm like, damn, bro, I'm a fuck up, and I'm still figuring it out just like you. But it also feels good, like when I see guys. I have one guy came from DOC, didn't have nothing, no funding, nothing.
Yeah.
Worked his ass off, going to labor ready every day, paying daily, just so he didn't get so far behind he couldn't dig out of a hole. I was able to get him a job with one of my employer connections, and now he's a supervisor over there, making like close to $60K a year.
Oh, he locked in.
Yeah, and it just feels good because I know, like, man, I had a hand in that.
Right.
Like, he had to do all the work, but I gave him the space to do it, to be able to do that, so it does feel good.
Sometimes that's all people need. Sometimes just that opportunity, that safe space, really. What's some hurdles you faced in the journey of just forming it, expanding, like just the whole thing?
Man, everything you can imagine, from other professionals not taking me or my wife serious, to people not answering our phone calls, to even now, if I'll schedule tours for like treatment centers to come tour our homes, and it'll be me, and if my house manager's there, I think you've seen it one time you came. The professionals don't even talk to me. They talk to my house manager. They
don't think you're the guy.
Yeah, it's like they look at me as like a client or less than or whatever. And so that kind of is hard. And also I had to learn, like, at least if they're willing to talk to him, it's better to have him have that conversation and get that potential opportunity to refer more individuals than them just like look at me and be like, oh no.
So sometimes you gotta delegate someone else to be in the face.
Yeah.
Because you know people's tendencies and shit.
Yeah.
Well, at least that's something you learn early, and you don't try to force. So hey, this is me. You know what I'm saying? I'll run this, and they be like, nah, we good. So sometimes you got put the white boy or the white girl in the front, in the forefront. So because they relatable, I guess. Is there anything you wish you did different?
And like as far as what?
This as far as the business.
I mean, I've learned so much lately that I'm like, I was tripping.
Yeah.
And also, I can't say that I would do it differently, because me and my wife had to get it on our own. We had to crawl out the mud. We had to figure it all out. And we learned so many lessons and resilience, and we also learned that we're capable of doing that. If we would have had someone who fronted us money or like built everything for us, then we wouldn't be where we are, and we wouldn't have that like self-esteem to push full forward and tell people who come from places we come from, like, bro, you can do it. Like, just believe in yourself.
It is like it's a pride thing when you really get it out the mud.
Yeah.
What's the ultimate goal for Authentic Recovery Homes?
Yeah, so the ultimate goal is we want to have 20 homes by 2025, and then from there we want to start branching out to other states, because there's a lot of other states that have just as many issues or more as Denver does,
right,
but they don't have the resources.
Right.
And so we want to be able to go to other states and help people get the resources that they need. But then we also want to be able to start hiring people, because I want to be able to give people an opportunity for their lives, like a career, something they could be proud of and be happy and show up to every day.
Yeah.
Be like, man, I love my job. I love what I do.
Hell yeah. Is there anything when it comes to the business or even your life that my questions didn't cover that you want to say?
Yeah, I do want to say, like, go after your goals, chase down your dreams. Like, a million people are going to tell you you're crazy. No one's going to believe in you. Keep it in here, bro.
Yep.
If you have someone who you could trust and share your big dreams with, do that. But don't let the rest of the world tell you what you couldn't be. There's a long time I didn't think I was going to be other than prison, and in a level 4 prison.
Right.
And now I'm out here running my own business. I got 33 guys in my homes right now. I'm opening the 4th October 1st. If I would have listened to anything anyone told me, I'd be dead or back in prison. Dream big.
Hell yeah. The bulk of the interview is over. We got to know you. We got to know your background. We got to talk about your business and what you do and what your mission is. We got to know Kells. You go by Kells?
I do.
Yeah, I don't know. I was randomly called you Kells, but you never said that. So I'm about to ask you some random questions.
Yeah.
These aren't invasive. They just some random off-topic bullshit questions like chicken or beef type shit. You know what I'm saying?
What kind of chicken?
Exactly. Shit like that. All right. So your favorite non-work activity?
Ooh. Man, I like to play poker, bro.
Oh shit, I never played poker.
I love poker.
I'm gonna have to get a crash course on poker because I might be a goat at poker if I really put my mind into it. When life get tough, who's your crutch?
Man, my only ride or die, the only person who's ever shown me 100% loyalty is my wife.
Let's go. Mexican food or seafood?
Or what food?
Seafood.
Mexican food.
Oh, you Mexican. A book that changed your life.
Man, so, this might be controversial, but 48 Laws of Power.
I got mine up there. I just haven't started yet.
Yeah, 48 Laws of Power. Definitely.
Bet. You care to expand on that?
Yeah, so in prison, because I was affiliated, I was in a gang, there's certain books that like our organizations require us to read.
Yeah.
And it teaches you how to politic better on that yard, how to be a better version of what you're doing at that time.
Right.
But that book also taught me about people and how to interact with people and different kinds of people. One thing I learned in prison, it took me a long time to learn, we be going at it, one of our homies would get dropped, and instead of us going to war and killing each other, we'd go talk to our enemies.
Yeah, go politic about it.
Yeah, and so what I learned was we were trying to find any alternative to make things copacetic, because when we exhausted all our resorts, people would start dying.
Yeah.
And so it learned, never before would I talk to an enemy. Now, I learned, like, you know what, Vic, if you're in the wrong, it don't matter if you're from my side or their side. The person who's in the wrong, you know, if it's one of my people, we're going to get our people and we're going to take care of that.
Right.
Because we're not trying to kill each other or die or lose whatever we have going on based on one person stepping outside of the line. And so, yeah, 48 Laws of Power for sure.
I'm gonna crack that book next. I'm reading Think and Grow Rich. I'm on like the last chapter of it.
Yep, yeah, that's a good book too. Read that book a bunch of times.
Man, I'm on the last chapter of that, and I'm gonna start 48 Laws of Power next.
Yeah.
Top 3 music albums of all time.
Oh, music albums. Damn, that's a good question. I don't know. I like Jay-Z Blueprint Volume 1.
Hard.
I like T.I. trap music, bro.
Man.
And then third, I'm trying to think. What do I listen to? What was...
That trap music had that beat easy on it.
Yeah. What else did it have on there? It had
that 24 song.
Yeah, it had a bunch.
ASA, yeah, niggas try to play beat, blow them off the map. That was,
Yeah.
we used to play that shit out. We had the bootleg version of it.
Yeah.
Shit.
And then third one was probably like any Mac Dre album, bro.
Oh yeah. Mac Dre had a whole generation he held down.
Yep.
Let's see, old school cars or new school cars?
Man, old school.
Yeah. I can't wait to get another box Chevy, bro.
Man, I want a Monte Carlo so bad.
LS or SS?
SS.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to be Lorenzo, bro.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Your craziest experience during the building of your business?
Yeah. Oh, we didn't even touch on this. So my wife and I finally found a house. We put the money we needed to put down, our earnest money, paid for appraisals, inspections, got to closing. Day of closing, we lost our home. The underwriter pulled out. Was like,
what?
Nope. Yeah, we didn't qualify for all of a sudden. Well, within 48 hours, we got our house. You know, so we went from losing that house and losing everything and thinking we were back on our ass at square one,
Yeah.
to meeting a dude who had that one of the houses you've been to,
Right.
and saying like, yeah, I heard about you and what you're trying to do. Here you go.
Damn. So that it was meant to work like that.
Yep.
Wow. That's blessings for real. Fill in the blank. I look for blank in a spouse. So look, we can go past tense then. I looked for blank and Bree.
Man, Bree was just, she checked all my boxes, bro. She's fine as hell. She's a little bit crazy. She's a little bit hood.
A little bit crazy.
Yeah, she's a little bit hood. But she's down.
Yeah.
Like if we get into an argument, we're gonna argue with each other.
Yeah.
She hits me, I push her. No, I'm just kidding. No domestic violence. But we can operate on the same level, right? I don't have to put myself in a shell to be who I am around her. She's been through so much in her culture and her lifestyle that if I yell and cuss and scream, she doesn't start crying and call the cops on me thinking it's domestic abuse. She's right back in my face like, fuck you.
Right.
You know, so.
Y'all got a good dynamic. It's clearly successful and it clearly ain't toxic.
Right.
Your happiest moment this year?
My happiest moment this year was probably a few weeks ago. And it just came out of nowhere. It was like nighttime. Bree and I were walking our puppy, cause yeah, that's what we do now. But and we live in this neighborhood, bro, that like it's really expensive, and there's no one around there that looks like us or comes from backgrounds like us, and like they close the door on us when they see us coming, and they're like, ask Bree if she's the cleaner and how come they didn't give her, just weird stuff, bro. But I just remember the other night we were walking, and I thought back to like when I started selling crack when I was like 12 years old, right here on 10th and Corona in Denver, and how at that time and for so long in my life, I only thought the only way I thought I was ever going to be anything was if I was slanging like work, whether it was crack, clear, whatever, and then just realizing like, man, how far I've come and how far we've both come and how grateful I am that I don't have to think like that no more.
Hell yeah. It's like you're a totally different human.
It's completely different.
That shit's fucking dope. So that leads really to my next question then. What's the most important thing you've ever done?
The most important thing I've ever done, I mean, I got two responses for that. So number one was marrying my wife and being true and loyal and committed to her. The other thing was learning to be honest with myself and okay feeling like a sellout and a letdown to chase down my own dreams.
Yeah, fuck what they think type thing.
Yup.
Hell yeah. Last question. If I wasn't running ARH, I would be
playing professional poker.
Man, I can see you though. I can see you like on, the little ESPN shit that we have over there. I can see you on there with some dark ass shades and shit. All right, the interview is over. We asked our randoms. We got to know you. We got to know what you do. This is the portion of the episode where I tell my guests to talk their shit.
Okay.
And so at this time, you can look into the camera, say whatever to whoever, however, promote your socials, promote your business, websites, phone numbers. The floor is yours. Talk your shit.
Yep. Hey, check me out on LinkedIn, Kelly MAHANA, AuthenticRecoveryHomes.com, Kelly_Authentic on Instagram, Kelly MAHANA on Facebook, Kelly at AuthenticRecoveryHomes.com. And also shout out to Vic, man. Check out Vic. He's always doing the interviewing and giving other people a platform. Man, go like and subscribe to all his shit.
I appreciate that.
Yep.
That's it?
That's it.
All right. I'm Vic Carter. This is Kelly MAHANA, owner of Authentic Recovery Homes, along with Bree MAHANA. Y'all check them out if anyone ever needs that service, anybody needs that help, anybody needs that life-changing shit experience. Check them out. And this has been another episode of What's Good.